Hello! Welcome to Spill the Beads with Joyce Trowbridge for Softflex Company. Excited to play with some fun beads today and make a wireframe bracelet inspired by the one I was wearing that people have asked about. So I thought, oh, what perfect kit, but to do it with the Love Note Mystery, um, or the Love Note Mystery Bead Kit, right? Hello, hello. Hi, Maria. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Dana. Nice to see you on here. Hi, Zach. Look at all these wonderful people. I love it. It's so fun to see all our friends. Hi, Ermelinda. Good to see you on here, too. So I am playing with our Love Note crystal mix that has some fun little hearts, some teardrops. You saw Sarah make a wonderful necklace during TGBE with it, and I thought this is a fun mix that would make this bracelet really fabulous. Hello, Nancy. Welcome. It This has such fun things. In fact, I might even use some of the spacers this time because there's some of these little golden hematite ones that would go really well with this gold. And we have these fun little spacers too that would add some brighter color. I don't know if I'll use the orange in this one, but I do like that orange a lot, and that came on there. So I don't know if you remember my little strand decided to burst, but that is like it's a nice little mix that can get used in a lot of fun ways in there. Kind of depends on what you want to do. Hello, happy Friday, Rosalinda. Good to see you on. I am going to be using 18 gauge wire for the frame, and I'm going to be using 24 gauge wire to wrap the beads around it. You can use 24 or 26. Oh, did you all see how they turned out? I see that Thomas popped up our last week's. Did you see how they turned out? I was going to put those on, and then I thought, oh, I need to share. So fun with the crystals around it, isn't it? I used some big ones at the bottom and then some small ones around the top, and then just made a little loop at the top for the ear wire to stick in there. So fun. I think I have to move this over a smidge. Oh. Don't fall, camera. I'll let you at home, don't trip and fall. As you can see, I spilt my beads out already, ready to go for this. I'm going to pop these in here in my ears so they can see how they are. I was like, oh, I gotta wear these today. They're cute. You can turn this into a pendant too. They're so fun. All right. And I love these cabochons. I hope we can find some more cabochons to add to our inventory because they are so fun to bead around. I started my pink coral, fossil coral beads and did that, but I haven't finished. So when I get them finished, I will post pictures so you can see how those turned out. Let's get started with our wireframe. And we're going to go and see our mat. All right. So we're going to start out with the center of the, why is that so? Yeah. We're going to make this frame around here first. Now this original one is actually made with a little bit thicker gauge wire, and we connected it here and covered it up with the wire, with the smaller wire, so you can't really see the connection. But that's kind of hard to do. It's harder to get this thicker gauge wire, and it is in like different metal finishes, and it's hard to keep it stiff because, as you can see, I can kind of move it, so I don't really like that, and it opens up a little bit. You know, I wear it, it's fine, but I did it a little different this time by curling up the ends and wiring the ends, and that's what I'm going to show you with today's. Hello, Roberta, welcome. So we're starting out with our 18 gauge wire, and I don't know, I'm just going to cut off a piece and work off of a larger piece and cut it down as I go. It's probably about a foot or so. And what you want to do, I like free-formy kind of, so I kind of did a square in this one. This one, you know, is more of a rectangle with a rounded edge. And I am using just my round nose pliers to make these corners. So I'm going to just kind of go a little, this first one, since I want to start from the kind of the middle. I like to form these with like from this end, kind of, just because then I can work around and meet up at the top. Makes more sense to my brain. Oh, well, thank you for catching me live today. So exciting. We're going to go and grab, I don't know, not quite center, but almost center. My scraps will be used for other things, so I'm not worried about wasting wire. And just with the round nose pliers, because I like my corners in this style to be soft. So that's why I'm using a round nose pliers. Oh, welcome, Jessica. Thank you. And I'm going to go over to this side. So since this is going to be like kind of the bottom, and this is going to be the side, I'm going to decide how far. So it depends on how wide you want your bracelet. You could do this for a pendant too, and a pair of earrings. I mean, you can do this method for so many things. And I'm just going to bend softly so it has a nice soft, and I'm going around with the curve of the wire so that I have this nice kind of softness on the edges to kind of keep it kind of curved, because I like that in mine. And then we're going to, hello Sherry, do the same thing. And now I'm going to go, that's the width of my bracelet, so now I'm going to go decide what is the width of the frame, like in this direction, and I want the middle frame to be a little bit longer this time. This one I made it shorter. This one I'm going to make a little bit longer because I want to show a couple things about that, because my other one was longer, and we're going to bend it up. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here, and I'm not going to try to get these at the same spot because I want it to be kind of free-formy and kind of odd shape. So this is going to be my frame. If you have an anvil and a hammer, you can, once we get this form, you can kind of hammer a little bit to work harden, or you can, or flatten it. But I have found with the 18 gauge, I don't really necessarily need to do that. Now, I'm going to make a cute little curly Q with this side, and then I'm going to cut this side down a little bit and do the same thing. I'm going to have I want them to kind of go together like that. So this one's going to curl, the outside is going to curl outwards, the inside is going to curl inwards. I like to get a nice fresh cut on the edge so that the flat part's like towards what you're keeping. So you get a little bit of a flatter cut. Good morning. Hello. Welcome. And then I'm going to just start with the small part of my round nose pliers and start curling in. And if you don't like the way it starts, sometimes they start a little, where are we? Teardroppy. If it's too teardroppy, you can always then cut again right here. Cut where that flat part goes into a curve. And then grab it again and curl it in, and you get a little bit rounder. There, oh, where are we? Here we are. Yes, this is the Love Note. This is the Love Note collection that I'm using today. Now with my chain nose pliers, I'm going to take and grab that curl, and I'm going to just gently ease this into a really pretty spiral. I'm making a bigger one this time. You can cut it down and make it smaller if you want. I'm going to make it kind of bigger and a little more open than my other. So make this in whatever, size that you want. Let's see. Do you have any? Do I use looping pliers and do I like them? Are you meaning the one-step looper, or are you meaning the like the step like the type that are I'm lost of words here. The step ones, or they come either in like solid instead of tapered, like a cone shape, like the round nose. Is that the type you're talking about, or the one step? But they are. I do like them, and I use them for different things. But for this, I'm just using my round nose pliers. They're more common as part of it. Oh, the one step. Yeah, the one step for looping, for doing your little looping links are great for that. Yeah. I've been doing wire work for much longer than those have been around, so I'm very used to my round nose pliers. So I tend to grab them more often because of that. Hello, Sarah. We're going to make a framed bracelet inspired by the one that I was wearing last month that people kept asking about. I wore that a couple of times. Yes, Stacy, that's what I could not think of that word. Now I'm going to cut this one a little bit shorter because this is way long. That's going to make way bigger spiral than that one. So I want that one to be smaller. So we're going to cut this down. Good morning, good morning. And let's go start with my round nose pliers. That one looks pretty good. So we're going to just start. I like to do loose ones. You can make them tight, however you want them to do. You can make them really small, like this one has really small ones. It kind of does look like a bow. We're going to make a little present of crystals. I like that. And this one I'm going to add it kind of into the frame. And that's where we're going there. Oh, yes, yes. Okay, those ones, Nancy, that's another fun one to use. For sure. That helps because that that groove that goes, and basically it's like one round and then this one instead of flat is curved in there, and that actually helps make your round loops a little more compressed and circled, and those are lovely for that reason. Now I'm going to take this and manipulate it a little bit so that they're together. And I'm going to now bind this with the 24 gauge wire. Pulling off I don't know, a piece that's about 2 feet maybe, because I'm going to then use it to start adding beads. And I'm going to add these a few times. I think it's great to experiment with the different kind of tools that are out there, because there's so many ways to make loops and make things that are, and it's good to find your method, because once you find your method, you can go to town. Now we're going to wrap these around. Several times where they meet. And I'm then going to take this long side and I'm going to now go in between and just wrap it around the frame. You just got yours, Becky? Fun. It's a great little mix, isn't it? And this is fun. Again, like I said, I am so used to. Oh, you're asking Anissa. Yeah, it's kind of cool to find out how everybody does theirs. I like hearing, and just wrapping a bunch of times there and ready to kind of put some. I'm going to put a bead across here so then I can start going in this direction, because I want to add my beads in this direction. Now, before I do that, because of the way this is going to be on my wrist, I want to make sure that there's more of a curve than this. Oh, no, before I do that, I'm actually going to take my tail. I only left a little tiny tail. And what I'm going to do with this tail is wrap it around. Now I'm going to wrap it around the coiled and just kind of add some dimension and texture to that coil by wrapping it around there. So that kind of gives you, and then I'm going to cut that little bit off. Yes, we have a great community, and it's great to get information from everyone. I love it. Now I'm bringing it up from the, and then now we're going to curve this. So you could do two different ways to kind of curve this. You could take, there are some nylon pliers that are bracelet forming ones that have a curve to make that happen, which helps. I like to just kind of use my thumb, and I'm going to just kind of do that on both sides, and I'm not worrying about it too much on whether it's even, because it's going to all lay there just fine and dandy once I'm all set, when it's all said and done. It's very important to do that when you have a big one. Now, if you made a smaller one, like my first one, which is a great little fun size, you don't have to do it as much because it's going to curve around. Oh, there it goes. It's going to curve around your wrist easier because it's smaller. Now I'm going to get a little bead. I'm going to take one of the small beads that are in this Just one of the small ones. And then I'm going to put it just in that little corner there. Wrap it around. Now, if you notice, when I wrap it around the base, I'm not taking, this is one of the problems with wrapping thin wire like 24 or 26 gauge when you do this. If you go in like you're threading through it with the tip, it's really easy to get kinks in the wire. But if you can do it where you push it up through and then pull it out, and I'm letting it just kind of taking my hand and just running it across, you're going to get less kinks in your wire. So you want to just kind of, and there, that's good there. Now I'm going to wrap around this coil right now because I want to make sure it doesn't catch on anything. And so if I wrap it around the coil a little bit, give it a little texture too, this is going to give it a little more strength and hold up. And I'm just going to take my pliers and pinch those little in. If you don't like the gap between them, you can always take your pliers gently and squeeze them together to get them closer. That's a nice little way to get in there. And now I'm ready to start adding more beads. So I don't put beads all the way across. I just kind of put a few beads. And because then we're going to fill it in with some wire too. And that's going to keep everything in place. And it's also, by not filling it all the way, you'll allow the beads to kind of bundle without bunching and crushing each other. So as you can see, if you really look, there is space there, but it works because that allows like movement and beads to do their thing. Oh, I love that. That's so fun. Yes. Going around. I'm going to add. Okay, so now I got to decide, is this going to be like in this direction? Or if it's going to be in this direction? Because I have hearts and I want to make sure my hearts are kind of facing, or I just randomly put them on and make sure they're going both ways. that's totally up to you. I do find that the hearts are easier to put on to this design if you put it so that the point is towards the frame. Oop. Okay, I'm gonna wait to do my heart maybe. This is kind of going a little crooked, and I think I'm gonna do a little. Exactly, I like that. Going both directions for that reason. Share the love. Love for yourself, love for others. I'm adding more because I want to get it a little further away. So that's one thing that you have to pay attention, is that you might want to put extra wire across, extra coils across, so that you can space these out a little bit better. Now you can put those bare wires in as you work it, but I like to do them last personally, because I feel like that I can add those in places that that help support the beads better, and I like to do it for that reason. Let's see. And now I'm going to go and wrap it around this spiral again. So again, I do like to go up through, I like to push it up, and even though it feels like I'm putting a kink in it by doing it this way, see how there's like a little, let's see, where can you see it? I'm kind of making a little bump there by pushing it up through. Get it in there. This is a type of kink that is easier to get out, I should say. So sometimes I can't do it with my fingers, so I grab my pliers to gently, don't grab them too hard. You just kind of want to pull it through. And then when I go pull it, come on, you can pull through. Then I can straighten it out with my fingers, and then I have less of a kink. And then I'm just going to go right up here. I am using 24 gauge right now. You can use 24, you can use 26 if you have it. 26 is another one. I just 24 is a little heftier, so I like that. Sometimes the 26 is better because your bead mix might have smaller holes. Like if you're using some gemstones or something. But for this purpose today with these lovely crystals, the 24 works perfect. Wonderful. Don't get dizzy with my bumping the camera. That's the thing about doing wire under a camera. It's so easy to bump it. All right, let's do a fun little drop here. I think I want to do a drop. Boom. And a let's see. I'll do a white crystal and a pink drop. And wrap a few times around this base. Yeah, the frame is done with 18 and this wire that I'm using is 24. Thank you, Maria. Thank you. I know it's great to repeat that, and I appreciate everyone that helps doing that in the comments, because some people don't catch it in the beginning and I forget to say it. I love it. Love this bead community. Here's my little heart that goes the other way. You don't have to fill up every space. You can if you want to. I just don't. In my original one, it does. I did fill up the space a lot in this one, in that original, and I use seed beads to fill up this space, so you can do that too, if you want. That adds a nice little fun. But this works out pretty nicely. And voila, got enough. Whoa, no, I don't, because I spilled the beads. Oh, they popped right off. Oh, I think I'm going to add another heart in this bottom if I can fit a heart. Can I fit a heart? Can I fit a heart? Yeah, we're going to slide in another heart. So we're good. Extra. Boom. Yeah, I just flung a bead right. I just pulled them right off of my wire. So I had to put some more on. Da, 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 da. All right, so now there we go. We have this lovely, beautiful piece. I'm going to take the rest of this wire and I'm going to kind of brace these beads behind it by going across with no beads on. And then I'm going to, now this is where you're going to have to go through like your threading, because now you don't always have room to pop it in the method that I was showing. But at this point, usually you've got a smaller wire, so you don't have to worry about it as much. But see how this kinks? If it starts to kink, just open it up and make it more round so it doesn't kink as bad. And then if you want, you can make the wire go on top, or you can just keep it go through one. I'm going to bring it to the back and do it on the back. For some reason, in this project with the crystals, I really like it to be all on the back. I tried to do it with it on the front like my original, but I just didn't like it as much. So all I'm doing is bringing it back to the back before I twist around, and I'm going back and forth, and I'll show you what that looks like. You can coil around the frame as much or as little as you want to kind of get it into the space. This has a bigger gap, so I can go back into my method of pushing it through. Okay, so we're going to pretend that I ran out of wire, even though I'm not really running out of wire, because I thought I was going to run out of wire way before this. And so I thought I would be able to show you how to add wire. But since I haven't, let's do that. Let's do that right now, because I didn't, depending on how many wraps on here, you never know what you're, where you're going to end up. And you could make them longer, but sometimes when you do the wire too long, it makes it hard to maneuver it through. So I'm going to show you how I add. So see where I'm leaving, this is my tail. So we're going to pretend that it's like a small piece. Well, we don't have to pretend. We can just cut it and it's a small piece. So, usually wrap it down to where it's a small piece of wire. And then I take, so this is on the back of my piece. I'm going to take my new piece. So this is the tail of my old. And take my new piece and lay it on top so that my new piece, the tail is on the opposite side and the working is going in the direction of this wire, that my tail, and I'm going to just wrap it. Now you could wrap it with the tail because it's smaller and it's kind of easier, but this makes it easier to see the direction. So I'm going to do it this way, even though I'm hitting the camera. Boom, 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 ba-doom, boom, 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 boom. Dun. Ooh, see, I gotta be careful. Don't want to make you dizzy with that. There we go. Once you got a few wraps there, now I'm ready to get back over here. I'm going to hold on to these tails right now because if I cut the tails, they're just going to like move too much and you might even pull it out a little bit. So right now I'm going to leave the tails there. I'm going to wrap around, get this a little bit more in place. Wrap it around. And if you just got on here and missed the beginning, this is going to be available to replay on Facebook or on our YouTube. We now have a playlist of all my spilled beads, so you can go on there and find some past ones and see what else we did. Ooh, sorry, I got caught. And I like the way the blank wires add some sparkle with the crystal. It reflects the light with the crystal. It also, because I'm putting it in the back, kind of helps support. So I can put this behind, particularly behind the hearts, so that the hearts don't move as much. So I'm moving that wire over so it's behind those hearts so that they're going to be forward facing instead of sideways facing. We're going the wrong direction. There we go. Okay, so now that I've gotten further on here, I can come back to these tails. We have a great team, huh? With Sarah and Kristen, and then all the wonderful guest designers that we get. Sufflex has a wonderful team of people. So I'm cutting these as close as I can to each other. And then what I like to do is take my chain nose pliers and see if we can get this under here well enough. And take that end and grab it gently and twist in the direction of the wire. So the wire was going that way, so I'm twisting it around that direction. And then do the same thing with the other one. And that's going to get it really nice and tight. And most of the time they get it so that they will meet each other. And that's my favorite, is when I can get it to meet. Sometimes it's hard to get that to meet. And in this design, it doesn't need to meet as close. But now you barely could tell that we added. Thank you, Sherry. Yes, like and share this video. We would appreciate it. I appreciate that. The love and the support of our beaders out there. Share it. I know. We have so many fun things that we could do here. So true, Kathy. Thank you. It is really freeing to do a free form. Because I think that was one of my things that made me intimidated with wire in the beginning, was trying to get things precise. And when you're not used to wire, it's really, really hard. And so doing projects like this where you're more free form and you can use mixed up beads, you can use fun mixes that you get that you're not sure what to do in other ways. This is a fabulous little thing. You can use your bead soups. There are just a lot of fun ways to explore this design. And it helps you get comfortable with wire. And then you can start doing those, then it makes it easier to do those more precise designs. And that's what I'm always looking for. Things that look way more, intricate and seems harder than it really is, that you can practice and learn from, that can help inspire those other projects that you want to do. And I'm just wrapping around. Exactly. I love it, Sherry. Thank you. For sure. Want to spread the love and get people inspired to make. There's nothing like making, right? Nothing like creating and making. There. I think this center is finished. Look at that. Now, you could wrap a few more times in the spot so that I'm going to cut this wire down since I don't need it as long to do this part. And I am going to just wrap this around a few more times. I'm going to make it tighter by pulling on it with my pliers. Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited about this piece. All right. And again, once I cut that wire, I don't want this little end to catch on anything. So I'm going to take my chain nose pliers, press down and twist it around that thicker wire so that it's laying right up against it. And I'm going to use my fingers to make sure it's not catching on anything. Yep, that's a good, look at that, look at that, look at that. It could go that way, I don't know. All right, so now we need to make our little edges, our things. And those are so, those are quite easy. You just take a piece of 18 gauge. Ooh, let's move those little beads out of the way. It doesn't have, you can make them smaller, bigger, whichever that you choose. I like to make I like to start with a nice flatter cut. I like to make a fairly large loop on these so that the hinge is more flexible. The other ones were pretty small and they're not as flexible, and I find that it was catching. That's what happens when you make it. I made that so many years ago that now as I wear it and stuff, I'm like, oh, now I want to do it this way. So made a fairly large loop. And then again with my round nose, just to keep that corner soft, because I'm all about that. Do the same thing here. And then round this one down. Trying to make it the same kind of large. And I'm going to hook that on. So I'm just going to take my chain nose pliers and I'm going to open it like a jump ring. I'm going to just kind of go off to the side like that and hook it around. Close it back up. That looks good. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Oop. Second side's a little trickier. You got to make sure you're opening it in the right direction or it's not going to hook it through as easily. And sometimes you got to deform it a little bit. Don't worry if you deform it a little bit. Once you bring this back, you can then open it up and get it back into shape that you want. I'm going to have to curve this one a little bit because before you add the beads, you want to make sure things are laying on your wrist right. I love this. Okay. And ready to add beads to it, right? Same process. Oh, I only cut myself a small piece. What am I thinking? I'm going to need more than this, so I guess I'm going to be adding. I'm going to wrap this around a few times. I'm in camera. Yeah. These you could go. This makes a great chunky bracelet for sure. And if you want to, you can make this tiny. You can make this smaller with smaller things. Because you get to make the sizes that you like, but it does make a fabulous chunky bracelet. Oh, there's so many crystals. How do you choose a crystal, right? Oop, too many on there. Too long, I should say. No, we're going to go the other direction. Sometimes you put it up there and you're like, oh, okay, no, I don't like the way those are leaned. Let's change it to the other side. There we go. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Now, and you just keep on keeping on, right? You just add beads, go across. You're doing the same thing as you're doing, and you're just going to make your links as you go until you have all of your links. Now it's a matter of what do you do for your end. That is a tricky thing, and you have to kind of decide how you really want to do it. Because you could, if I did one less than this, I could make my hook that I did on my other bracelet. I could put on a regular clasp if you want. I mean, there's lots of ways that you can end it. You don't even have to make all these frames. If you decided that you just like this frame, I mean, you could crimp on and string to a clasp if you want to. There's lots of different ways to end it. What I did with my end is I made this little S hook that looks like the frame, and it sits in here and grabs hold, and it holds on to it fairly well. On occasion, I do get it so that it doesn't, like, I don't hook it on. You have to be careful when you actually hook it on. It will fall off right away if you don't have it right. You also have to be careful with what you put on there, because see how I'm like wearing off the coating of this pearl, because it's like right there and it's so big, and I kept rubbing up against it when I attach it. So I'm going to show you how to do this little hook now. Looking at time, we have just enough time, but you just keep this going, adding more and more links as you go until you have that. So if you're going to do that, I mean, one of the nice things about this method is that you can barely tell where, once it's all hooked in here. Like, I could do this on one arm only. I can't wear this bracelet on both wrists. I have a hard time getting that hooked, and I want to try to wear it on my right hand. I have to wear it on my left so I can do it. But it's so nice because it just barely looks like anything when you get there. So let's show how to do that. It's really close to making a frame, because that's basically what it is. And it's just a matter of curving it. So we're going to start with our frame. Same way with my brown nose pliers, right? Now, this is where you want to hold on to it with your round nose pliers. I'm using it right at the base, lining up. Oh, the looping pliers would be amazing for this. Yes, if I had them, that would be a fantastic. You could totally use this to make a choker. Even if you don't do the whole thing, maybe you just do the front portion and then you do the rest of it. You either do it with chain leather or just string beads. That'd be great. But yeah, no, so like the looping plier would be great for this. I'm just going to use my round nose because I have them. That's what I have. And I'm just going to curve around, and I'm going to use the kind of the thickest part of my round nose pliers here. And I'm curving it around that way. Now I'm going to do this side. I'm going to hold it, and you have to curve it around, making sure I'm curving them the same. And let's see. See how you get that? You want it to be a kind of a little more up, so sometimes you got to adjust it a little. Before you go any further, you always want to check that it goes into the size. Like I can't connect it to this. I need a wider. I did mine too wide. Too wide. That's silly. This one though. Look at that. Nope. Can I do it on this one? Oh, I messed up. Okay, start again. Can't show you how it works if I not paid attention. So I did not pay attention. Did not pay attention. I'm so used to doing the free form for the stuff. I forget that you gotta like, hello, you want it to match the one that you're hooking it to. In fact, you want it a little bit smaller because it'll make it easier to put it on. Okay, so I made it a little smaller than this one. So let's do that again. We're gonna go and curve it around. Curve it around. Check and make sure it hooks in. You want it to be a little bit more closed than that, because you want it to be able to hook in and then kind of grab it. So see how, so that when it hooks in, it goes up a little bit. Because if you have it like where it hits this here, it's going to fall out. But if you have it so where it hooks like that, where that tip is a little more pointed upward, that's going to hold it a little tighter. Then you're going to make your round loops like right at the edge of that, so there's not much room in between. So when you go to hook this, the wire just goes right in between that space. Like you just want it to just barely get in there. Hello, welcome. And I'm making a smaller loop. Like I made larger loops on here because I want this to be nice and movey to go around my wrist, but I don't want this to be too movey or it's going to, that makes it sound like a movie. I don't want it to move too much because if it moves too much, it can come undone. So again, just enough. Like I like to test it before I cut it, just in case if I have to open that up a little or close it up more, and just make sure it just barely hooks in there. Oh, I'm too close. There's a fine line between too close and not close enough. Okay. Now I'm gonna, that's gonna hook to that one. So this one, I'm gonna hook it to this so we can show it. And then I get to finish this bracelet and show you how it turns out later. And we will share it when we do the blog on this, how it turned out. You'll probably see it next week. I'll probably be wearing it next week. Connect, connect, connect. Connect, connect, connect. And so when you go to hook this a little bit, it's going to just go right in and stay like that. Thank you, Dana. Thank you so much. These stations will listen. That'd be so wonderful. Yes, for sure. You could totally hook some elastic onto those loops so that you can have the ease of putting it on with elastic for those. Like, that's a great idea. Maybe I'll just take these and hook these together. No, I'm going to make two separate ones because that's how I'm going to be. I love that idea. That is wonderful. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you had fun creating this wire, or watching me create this wire frame bracelet today. I hope you make one too, whether you make it with your love note that you just got. There's several people that got that. Or if you do something else, please share with our Softflex VIB group what you make with yours, with this idea, or with what you make with your love note. I would love to see it. Until next week, enjoy, keep beading, spill some beads with me on Fridays, 9:30 Pacific time, and keep spilling those beads over the week. See you later. Bye.